And returning to our top story, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has arrived in the United States. It's ahead of next week's major AUKUS announcement. Australia is set to learn how and when we'll acquire nuclear submarines under the Security Pact. Joining me live is Independent MP Zali Steggall. Thank you so much for joining us, Zali. So the plan for Australia to acquire the nuclear submarines is estimated to cost more than $150 billion over the next 3 decades. Do you think that spend is worth it?
Look, I mean, what price do you put on your national security and in particular your ability to get intelligence information in the Pacific region? And that's where ultimately the submarines are incredibly efficient for, is they can be undetected for weeks, months on end underwater and provide information. So it is an incredibly important part of our national security and our defence. Obviously, the cost is a concern, as well as the timeline in which we will in fact get submarines, because my understanding is we may end up with maybe even second-hand or licensed submarines initially to the 2030s and then the new ones. The question around how much sovereign capacity and sort of the technology and the builds will also be something being raised with me. So I look forward to the Prime Minister's announcements. We would like to get a bit more information on this. And we do need to apply a lens of cost benefit when we know the budget is blowing out in so many ways.
All right, let's turn to the New South Wales state election, less than 2 weeks away, March 25. A number of Teal independents are in the running. How confident are you that they'll get through?
Look, I think we have some very strong community independents, from the Northern Beaches Mayor Michael Regan to here in Manly, Jolene Hackman and Helen Conway in North Shore. They are there because the community is frustrated with the government, and I think fairly frustrated with the Liberal national government that is still approving deforestation, logging of native forests, approving new coal and gas projects. So there is an accountability piece which communities are looking to independents, because I think independents can hold government to account on these issues. This is a critical decade. We have to get emissions down. And so the vote in this state election will be incredibly important.
And Zali, you spoke to former PM Malcolm Turnbull on his podcast Defending Democracy, and you made mention that you would argue the Liberal base is a declining group. What do you think some of the major concerns are there?
Yeah, I think when I look at my seat, and I did the podcast with Allegra Spender, who obviously is in Malcolm Turnbull's old seat in Wentworth, looking at why is the Liberal Party unable to attract more professional women and to pre-select women in safer seats or not. I think it's a question of how the system works, the pre-selection process, where their membership base is. And to me, if I look at the electorate of Warringah, which was traditionally Liberal but is now very firmly independent, I think there is that growing dissatisfaction with political parties, and in particular the Liberal Party. It's allowed itself to move far too far to the right, to conservatism, fairly similar to the Nationals on most issues, and so it really doesn't represent the communities anymore. So I think that is why you're seeing this growth of community independence and communities wanting a different kind of politics.
Independent MP Zali Steggall, thank you so much.
Thank you.